What is up, gamers? In today's video, we are looking at the most ultimate Nintendo DS Lite that I built around 100 days ago. We will be going over the system, seeing the wear and tear that it has, going over the issues that it has, and seeing how the mods that I installed on this guy worked out over time. It has been 100 days. I use this guy almost every day, not quite every day, but almost every day. I play my Pokemon games, have a good time with his system. So first thing off the bat, I had to replace the touchscreen, and the tactile buttons ended up breaking. They were not good. Either the solder joints were just bad and they ended up like corroding. I don't even know really what happened, but the tactile buttons just stopped working. They were really nice and clicky, but even during gameplay, they just weren't as nice as these rubber membrane buttons, even though these rubber membrane buttons are lower quality. It's just the fact that tactile buttons were DIY. They just did not work enough to work long-term with this system. Now, another thing is I had to swap the touch screen on this guy because it stopped working for some reason, and the left speaker stopped working whenever I had to do the tactile button swap and the touchscreen swap. The left speaker stopped working because there ended up being a tear in the top screen ribbon cable. This cable here, there's a tear somewhere on the left outer edge, which is unfortunate. So the left speaker does not carry audio anymore, but I will do a bum fix for this so that we will get audio in the speaker, but it will have the right channel's audio, but it'll still work. And at the end of this system will be available for sale for you to purchase as is on my website. So if you guys are interested in this system and want to grab it for yourself, there will be a link in the description. One other thing that I upgraded this guy with is our GBA slot cover. As soon as we turn the system on, it lights up blue. This thing is so cool. It's just a regular GBA slot cover, but then you plug it in and bam, it lights up blue. This thing is just incredible. This is awesome. Quite frankly, it never shuts off unless you take it out or if you turn the DS off. If you put the DS to sleep, it still stays on. So like this could be like a, I don't know, just like a cool ambient light if you're into that, I guess. But other than that, this system works great. I do not know what condition it's in. It's been in this clear plastic case for so long and it looks like it might be really scuffed on the inside, but I'm not quite sure. So we'll see what it looks like when I take this plastic case off. That is what we will do first. But one final thing, the R button totally stopped working. It doesn't click no matter what, even when I take this plastic case off. So we will be soldering brand new high quality super tactile shoulder buttons onto the system. Even though L works, if I only replaced R, then R would be super clicky. So I'm going to replace L as well. So we will have brand new shoulder buttons. Let's get into it. Let's see what the top of the system looks like after over 100 days. First impressions, it looks almost brand new. Let's give it a spray down and see the condition of the system. Now, it should be pretty much perfect because I put this shell plate on when the system was brand new. And yeah, it's pretty much new. We can see there's 2 marks right there. But other than that, this looks pretty much brand new as day one, which is really cool. So this guy has some scuffs and we can see there's just kind of scuffs all over the place. It's not clean, but you can still see there's just a bunch of scratches, but it is protecting this guy, which is the biggest deal. So now let's take off this. We'll take our game cartridge out. There we go. On first glance, we have these really dark lines, but they seem to wipe away. So again, let's spray this guy down and see how well this clear case protected it. I'm also going to put the DS face down on this to protect it from scratches. So the bottom of the system looks to be in really good shape. It has some scuffing right here, but it's really hard to tell unless the light is shining on it at a specific angle. And let's clean the side. Mostly went away. We can see it's a little bright right there, but the system is in fantastic shape. I'm pretty impressed with how well that clear shell protected it. I mean, of course it protected it, but so there's that. And now we have to get the R button and the L button swapped, and we have to get the left speaker repaired. So we'll take these out. I want to be pretty careful with these. One more thing I forgot to mention. Literally like 2 days ago, I dropped the system while it was plugged in to USB-C power, and it didn't break the USB-C port. It works, but it busted it up a little bit. So you definitely don't want to drop your DS while it's USB-C charging, because they are not as durable as Nintendo's charging port. It still held up fine, but let's remove this and this. I will get our motherboard free. This post just came off, so that's really cool. We'll probably put that off to the side and try to put it back in. But yeah, you can see the port. It has like a line right here. It got a little busted up, but it still works. Remove that. Take that out. Now we will remove our motherboard. Remove our bottom screen. And here is our board. We will set this off to the side, set this off to the side, this off to the side, and wow, that is crazy. I went crazy with these solder balls here. I'm going to redo that, that's for sure. All right, we will bust out our microscope. All right, I'm gonna turn on my fume extractor. Might get a little noisy in here, guys, okay? We'll hook up a USB-C port just to make sure it still works. Like a charm. So now let's get these shoulder buttons addressed. All right, so first what I do when I remove shoulder buttons, I unclamp their metal shield. I pry it up, and then I pry it up and down to make it loose and to get rid of it. This takes care of these two top solder joints so that it's not soldered there anymore. And then all I need to do is come in with my iron and just kind of scrape it along these three solder joints until it gets them, and then they're all good to go. And then I can go over these solder pads just to make sure they're tinned. And now I can do the same for this one, which maybe we can see why it is not working, because it looks like a mess. But now we can do the same for this. Again, I'm going to turn on my fume extractor. Might get a little noisy in here, guys, okay? Just going to run my soldering iron along these three solder joints to help melt the solder and to get this L button out of here. There we go. Now, I'm going to clean that up a little bit with some isopropyl alcohol, because that's not okay. Bam, bam. So clean. Looks like a little bit of motherboard has been removed, but that's fine. So now I'm going to come in with flux paste. I'll only show the right shoulder button since it's the same exact process for both of them. And this one is a little easier to show on camera because it has more room to work with. Going to apply a little bit of flux in this area, and then I will apply some solder to these points with my iron just to make sure they are all ready for a brand new shoulder button to get installed. Going to bring in a brand new shoulder button. I like to get an alligator clip, and I like to clamp it onto the button, onto the back side, just like this. So now I'm going to tin the three pads here. I'm going to add some flux to these points here, and I'm going to dab a little bit of solder onto each of these points. And now I like to put the shoulder button in place here. It's really hard to show this on camera. I put the shoulder button in place and then I solder it on. It's really hard to show right now. We got this button attached. We can see it has its 3 points soldered on very well. And when I push on it, it's firmly in place, so that's fantastic. So now I'm just gonna do the same exact thing to this side. That took some time, but we can see this button is also soldered on very well. No matter how hard I click the button, it's solid, so that is fantastic. Here is our board, and we can get our bottom screen plugged back in, and there we go. So now let's see if I can find this tear in the ribbon cable for the top. I'm just going to reassemble the system because we don't need to disassemble it any further from here. I'm just going to reassemble it as it is, and then we will fix that left speaker. And we have our Flash Me Flashed Wi-Fi chip. We'll plug our fancy blue cable back into there. And now, so normally with a brand new shoulder button, I need to trim the right shoulder button, just like I need to trim the left. So yeah, you see how I put it in? It's barely clicking, like it barely has enough room to click. So I'm going to take that out, take the spring out and the rod, and I'm going to show you how I trim it when I install brand new shoulder buttons on these things. So when I trim these shoulder buttons, I trim them along this side here with flush cutters. Boom, boom, and boom. And then I take a Dremel to smooth it off. Okay, and now I blow it out. Get all of the excess dust out of there, and now it's ready to go back in. So I'm going to put the metal rod here. Going to get our spring in place, which this spring looks like it got a little bit of rust on it from the shoulder button. So we will replace that spring. It's a good one, super clean one. We put it in here, and then I can just slide it right down that rod. And now it will not hold itself in place until we have the bottom plate on. So we will hang just like that. I'm gonna put this one in just like that. This one also will not have any tension, so we'll put it in like that. And now I'm going to hold them closed while I get our bottom shell piece. And we are going to put our bottom shell piece on, making sure our power switch is in the down position. There we go. Then we can slap our plate on, and we'll get some screws in. All right. So it looks like one shoulder button is being pressed down all the time, which means I soldered it on incorrectly, so I bridged a point. So I need to take the motherboard back apart. All right, so I got the shoulder buttons all soldered on now, so R. Okay. Alrighty guys, so I got the shoulder buttons all soldered on now. They are super clicky and they work really nicely. So if we go into pixel chat, for example, you can see the shoulder buttons work with every single click. And you can hear they are nice and clicky. So that's fantastic. And also, I'm going to put these rubber pads back in their places, stick them back on there. And now we will get into the top half of the system. This will be a very easy and simple fix. Just going to stab our 4 rubber pads up here. Unscrew these 4 Phillips screws. Turn on our solder station. Alexa, turn on Ohio. Slide our top plate off. Okay, and now I'm going to poke our top screen through here. And here is our left speaker. So what's going to make it work? Oh, geez, that's not good. What's going to make it work is soldering it to where the right speaker plugs into. So to do that, I first get a clamp, and I'm going to clamp down our right speaker's cables so that they do not become desoldered. And then I'm going to simply desolder our left speaker from here. Flip it around. Get the red cable in here, and the black cable in here. The left speaker will work just as good as the right speaker. Going to make sure it's routed properly, of course. And we also want to make sure our speaker rings are in place. Just like that, we can put our top plate back on, turn our system on, and the left speaker should work just as good as the right speaker. And we can hear it's popping. Hear that pop and the pop. That means the speaker's cables are getting pinched somewhere. And this black cable here is getting pinched by the screen. There we go. Unpinched it. So now it should work a-okay. Gonna put our game back in so we can test it easily. I can tell very clearly that the left speaker is already working perfectly fine. We'll put our 4 screws back in. Yes, that sounds a lot better. We can hear, even when I cover the right speaker, we still hear this totally well, which was not happening before. So now you might be like, okay, well now it's mono audio, so you can't hear what was coming out of that speaker before. Now you would be right, but we can set it to mono. In video games like Pokemon and Mario, and now we can close it and save it. So now we are not losing any audio and it is working just like it would have before. You're just not getting the right Pokemon cries out of the speaker and the left Pokemon cries out of this speaker, and the right and left channels for the soundtracks will be coming out of both speakers and not just the one that they were meant to. And you can still plug in headphones to get the left and right audio channels separate for your headphones or earbuds. This is just a quick and easy fix so that you do not need to replace the entire top screen, because the real way to fix this speaker so that this speaker can output the left speaker's audio signal is to replace the whole entire top screen, which that would take so much time and resources for what is otherwise an easy and perfectly acceptable fix. I would never ever fix a DS like that is on my eBay shop or on my website. So every single DS that I ever sell, I would never fix like this. I'm only fixing this one like it because it's a quick and easy fix, and I'm selling this guy on my website as like an as-is type of, like, you know what you're receiving. You're not buying a perfectly brand new, awesome quality refurbished system. You're buying one that has been used for 100 days and has a quirk here and there. So this one's quirk is, of course, the audio signal is mono and you are not getting the left speaker's audio signal. But I just wanted to put that out there because I don't want you guys to think that I'm doing that with all of my custom systems. I would not do that with any of them ever. Those systems are only ever high quality and as good as new. Only doing it for this one because it absolutely does not need a brand new top screen, and you guys know what you will be buying because you will have seen 2 videos on the system so far. Well, 2 videos on the system, period. All right, there we go. So we installed 4 brand new rubber pads so that they do not have puncture marks. And now this guy is pretty much all ready to go. Give him some spray down. We will clean him up, see if the bottom screen has any scratches. I have been using the touch, so we will see how scratch resistant this glass digitizer is. Top screen lens, I'm sure, looks very comparable to what it did before, and the bottom screen pretty much looks absolutely brand new, honestly. There's a couple of specks here and there, but they might just be dust particles. This thing is amazing. It held up fantastic for the 100 days that I worked on it. All of these on the top plate are just smudges from when I was just fixing it now. As we can see, it cleans up amazingly. Same for the bottom piece. And now whoever purchases this will receive a Y screwdriver and a Retro Revolution PCB, so that if you do not want the bright LEDs in this, because it gets really bright. You turn the system on and it gets really bright, like it is obnoxiously bright. So if whoever purchases the system does not like that, they will receive a brand new Y screwdriver to undo this screw anytime they like, and can swap out this LED PCB with my custom Retro Revolution PCB. There is no functionality to either of these PCBs other than this one lights up, and they both protect the GBA slot cover from dust. That is quite literally it. Other than that, they serve no purpose. It's just for aesthetics and because it looks cool and stuff, and cool stuff and things. Also, after 3 months of using this system, we can see the Extreme Rate stylus held up very, very, very well. It still has a good notch. It did take a little bit of time for it to do this, for it to wear to the point to where it could go in and out easily, but it does. That's fantastic. Here is the system. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more cool DS content coming on the way. I have some really cool DS systems like this one. It looks like a normal navy blue system, but you turn it around. This sucker is an iQ DS Lite, which when you turn on, it has the iQ startup. We will get this guy fixed up and refurbished for a video. Stay tuned for that. I have a lot of other cool mods and systems on the way. Subscribe, leave a like on this video, guys. It really helps out my channel grow. It means a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.